Okay, wait for it. Wait. Hello, my name is Joshua. I got tongue twisted. Hello, my name is Joshua, and welcome to a new game, Katawa Shoujo, a dating sim. So, I do plan to voice act as much as I can, but it's only limited to how many characters there are in this game. So, I'm probably only gonna voice act the dateable options. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students.
Makawa Ikosara, the 16th student, lying hidden somewhere in the school. The one they call the Oakman is well. Watch out for her.
Hello. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Yeah, I'm fine. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, it's fine. I'm more a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. I mean, well, playing a new game. There's, like I said, if you weren't here earlier, I'm gonna try to voice act the main characters. So any side characters like the doctor, Kenji, you'll find out who Kenji is later, and this girl. The side characters won't really get voice acting, but the main dateable options will get voice acting. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Whoops. Ah, Hisao, you came. Hi Hisao, you came. Sorry, I was checking something. Hesitatingly, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I've watched Ragnar play it, that's why I know it, but I've never played it myself. I mean, I did some voice acting for him. He plans to play this one day with a bunch of other VTubers. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdrop to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Uh-oh. Iwanako, I got a note telling me to wait here. Is it yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense. I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. People don't like her. I mean, she's only like foil for your character. She's not really a... She's mostly like a side character, a passing notice. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out of my chest and claim the girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cognous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes locked with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. Uh-oh, this is the beginning. Gets a heart attack. Not feeling well. Aww. I hope I can make it better for you. But if you need some time to yourself, I'll understand. My throat is tight. I doubt I can even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know. Gets a heart attack, and I'm not even kidding. If you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they're being stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reached up to try to massage my throat, but this only sent spikes of blinding pain along my arms. As long as wait until I get up to the voice acting. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shot open in terror. Like I said, main characters, side characters don't get voice acting. Hisao! The beating of my chest suddenly stops, and I got weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the insistent clattering of the branches above. That's how the game starts. Four Leaf Studios presents Katawa Shoujo. Give all. Nah, because a character is gonna use that voice. So I can't. It'll be weird. You'll recognize which character I'm gonna use that voice to. Just keep an eye out for a character with purple hair. I don't think I could skip this. Yeah. Also a sad fact, one of the main creator of this game, like this was made by a team. That's me. You're probably wonder how I got it. What do you call it? A sad fact is that the main creator of this game, it was made by a team, but the person who kind of led everything, he passed away last year or the year before. So it's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I could probably count the times I've left this hospital room. unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word, a foreign alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. Wait, so every voice with purple hair. Well, if I play Doki Doki Literature Club, Yuri isn't gonna get that voice. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It could be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it's a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Yeah. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of life. Also, there's a adult patch of this game. I could turn it on and off manually, but because this is YouTube, I turned it off. So I'm sorry. It didn't really do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay in the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it's like a girl dating sim, like it's for guys who want to date girls. Cause Shoujo kinda means young girl in Japanese. It felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Yeah, that's happened. Danganronpa. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on the snowy day ever again. The hospital. It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest. Slowly changed its appearance over time. Thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations were low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore. When I don't get a reply, the way he shuffles around and the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I mean, isn't libraries just storerooms for books? I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit of an addict. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The longest I had to stay in a hospital was like 2 days, because I had to get surgery done on my arm. The days began increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the books I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mess. I was trapped inside instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while. Cool, is this MC? This is cool and all, but where are the waifus? Yeah, you'll get used to it in visual novels. It's not like Hajime or Makoto who just gets to the point. Actually, Hajime is very snappy compared to Makoto. Looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual that the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of pointlessness of what he just did. Makoto seems more like a typical. He kind of has a personality. Like, he was always hopeful, like he keeps changing his mind. But Hajime was very to the point, like he would snap at other characters. And he occasionally sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you could go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. Doctor, turn off my waifu inhibitors. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? Erectile dysfunction is on there. I'm not even sure some of these are like part of the thing. Part of the conditions. They're just putting out a bunch of random medicine, a random percentages, and a random illnesses. Maybe they are linked, but who knows? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contrasections, and dosage are listed line after line with cold precision. The words are actually blurring out, like I can't, I have a hard time seeing because I'm partially blind IRL. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I don't understand any of it. Yeah. I mean, can arrhythmia really affect that? I mean, if you're having a hard time breathing, then yeah. I don't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence boost is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it, he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? No, you're going to a disability school. That's the purpose of this. That's the whole thing of this game. Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least, not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. They threw all the scary medical terms on paper just to buff up the taxes. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it wasn't really like that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, it's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll only need a job one day, and this is the opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamned opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you waited to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. This is what I want to say. It's a step down. Doctor, are you sure you have a degree? I don't understand how. Yeah, there are some things in this game. It's not what you think. All the students are pretty active in their own sort of way. Also, the game explains later on that you don't have to be disabled to enter the school. It's just that the majority of students are disabled. It's geared towards students that could still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I've always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I wanted to protest. I wanted to blame this lack of reaction or shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I could go back to school anyway, but no. Also, what do you call it? I'm samurai, the wifeys are waiting. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. It's also explained that Hisao here is actually on his final year of high school. That's probably why he's very hesitant to go to a new school. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any bit different. There really isn't a choice, I know this. But the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start. And my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. You're waiting for the voice acting, aren't you, Firewall? That's what Hisao looks like. He has an ahigao. No, wait, not ahigao, ahoge. Ahigao is the face, I'm sorry. Ahoge. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. Wait. Let me just turn down the volume a bit. See? Disabled. I think we're all waiting for the wife. Wait, did I miss that? In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. Now he's ranting about the gate. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but I couldn't really decide. But no. Yeah, you can, but I can't do that because of YouTube. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. This is literally Makoto. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly luscious, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. And that's why I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies. Too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school in the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I mean, it hasn't even been an hour, it just feels long. I wonder if the feeling is real. The only thing you know for real? Or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kinda eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here so I can anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the green hue flashes all around me, catching my attention. Also, like Danganronpa, apparently this game was released in 2012. Also, even though it has a Japanese name and the names are very Japanese, it wasn't made in Japan. I think it was made in the US. It's an indie game. Then it later got a following that got translated to other languages and was available to other countries. Makes me think about hospitals again. How they say the operating rooms are painted green because green is a common color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? ... After all, after I stand in front of the Hedgley main building, so it's like Doki Doki then, yeah. I surprised myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous, and with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. This is exactly how my teachers would want us to describe. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's logical. Tall man, you must be Neki Nakai. So you are excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Yugi Muto. I'm kidding. So how's it going? Oh, we're just playing this game. Firewall here's waiting for the waifus. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither formal nor sloppy. And he looks at his watch. The head nurse asks you for a brief check-in visit. But there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce yourself to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. For me, I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. I'm not judging you. But also, I'm gonna voice act the dateable options, so we're kind of waiting on that too. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Yes, of course. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. That's our first choice, but apparently that one doesn't matter. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The The third door down. The third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Yes, they do, because dates, but some options don't matter. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worry. So much about it. At least not this soon. Guess the dateable options. Here's a hint, there's only one in this frame right now. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, potentially so I wouldn't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. I might just do 2 routes because there's like 5 dateable options, but I might just do 2. I only see the option with... It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around and in between the desk. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and the high old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are standard wooden desks with a shelf, there's no shelves, underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school. But then, why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them. There's another dateable option, only it's not immediately obvious. There's a technical dateable option. Then I noticed that one of the girls seemed to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a bit jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen. Thank you, MC Wood. Yes, this floor is made of floor. When everyone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. Also, there's an incel in this game, like he's misogynist. We're mostly gonna ignore him in this game. We can't ignore him, like there are sometimes you can't, but I notice a flash of dark hair, and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long straight hair. She's not a dateable option, but it's pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. It's not just the class, it's the entire school. It's a disability school. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl is making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kinda cute. So is the cheery looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please, welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, so does everyone else except for one girl in the first row who only has one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. I'm stuttering a lot. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that? My hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope we get along well. I get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. He said cringe, yeah. And after that, I'm being so boring. I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied, even with what little I said. Though a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have been worse. It could have gone worse, not. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her wrist. That ends in a bandaged thumb. I'm checking something. It makes me feel bad. A little bad. We're going to do some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you want to know, and who else would be able to do better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out today's assignments and announces that we may be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Alright, Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. She's a deaf girl, but Ragnar hates her personality. Ragnar has a habit of calling her bitch. That's not her. That's the interpreter. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. Here comes the voiceovers acting. It's going to be cringy because it's a voice. It's a voice I've never really practiced. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Misha. Hakamichi Shi-chan. This is Hakamichi Shi-chan. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. These two are dateable options. Well, she isn't, but you could cheat on the blue-haired one, Shizune. You could cheat on her with the pink-haired one. So technically, they're both dateable options. She has short yet carefully neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses. I'm not dating them in this, so because yeah. Balance on top of a dainty nose and dark blue eyes that seems to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a quick gesture with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. Yes, you can. He's a joke route, but I'm not gonna date him either. Yeah, I think he almost kills you, and I'm not kidding. I wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk with other people, and who better to explain things to you. I could could see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you would think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the only person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up for no reason, right? Right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? How's that voice? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon, Hick-chan, right? He-chan? I know it says he-chan, I just say Hick because hiccups. Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say that out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits! You look just like I imagined. Hahaha. Yeah, you look just like a he-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps. No, I'm not gonna do. I'm going for more of Valley Girl because you'll see the rest of her personality later on in the game. Akamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitingly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like school so far? We could show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Sorry. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. They don't state what her disability is. They're more leaning like she's her interpreter, but there are theories that her disability is. So you plan on maybe, yeah. So some people theorize that her disability is that she has ADHD or something. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today. And I monologued about the front yard. Hahaha. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school either. Anyways, if it's a trip to a convenience store, really, even if it's a trip to the convenience store, really, Shi-chan? Hahaha. I mean, that's what I do when I find a new location. I tend to explore for about an hour before I go somewhere. I might go into overtime until we meet all the dateable options. Learn about where you're going? I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I don't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it, half-assedly. But anyway, I didn't say anything, and Misha signed something that ends in a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deep. You look down, are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal. as much as needing help. Well, judging by yeah. Stop looking like you failed a test. Ah ha 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 ha. All right. And another thing, you don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Yep, Shizune is fine. Okay, that would be a lot easier for me. Also, each dateable option had a different writer. Like there's 5 dateable options, so there was like 5 different writers for the game. I feel a little more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I assume would be all business. Oh wow, I didn't even press that. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. Huh? Oh right. We haven't even touched the assignment yet. The assignment. We should start work now, or Shi-chan will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. Ahaha, that too. See, you could already tell her attitude. She's very snappy, like, oh, get on with it. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? Also, these two take up a lot of your time. The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than anyone else in the class despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are very capable. They're quite different though. The class rep is calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about it. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down the bottom floor. Hello. Just like everything in this school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main gate. It's a cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of I should also lower down the sound effects. Where is it? There's a skip mode just in case. Oh wait, that's the music. Okay. Of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceeded to the line. There is a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate people with special diets. I mean, I barely got into the stream. It hasn't even been an hour yet. How nice. It feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating proportions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I picked something random and followed Shizune to a table sitting opposite of her. As nim as I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha looks me in the side to grab my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at the person who talks to you is proper and impolite. Do you want to know something? What? How about anything? We're your guides, so you should ask if there is something. I wonder. Ask about the library. Oh yeah, is there a library in this school? Ah, thanks. Lately, I've been getting into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives a kind of frown that makes it clear that she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. Audition. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with what I have right now. I just hope I could grow a little more and spread more happiness and hope. There is! It's on the second floor. We could show it to you sometime. We could show you sometime. Thanks. Thanks. Sorry. I return to my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. I have to live for... Here are two of them! I mean, I won't end the stream until we meet all the options, so I might go into a little bit of an overtime. I mean, it hasn't been an hour yet, so... I quickly notice a conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. Also, since you weren't here, here's something that made Firewall become very interested. Here's the adult option. Yes, there is like naked scenes, but we're not doing that because YouTube. We arrived in the classroom early, but we're not the first. Here's the other dateable option. That's the one I'm going to use that quote-unquote Mikan voice with. The dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumped over her desk at the last row. I still made a sound effect, because why not? I can't do it on YouTube. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with the elegance of a rhino. Yes. She sinks deeper into her seat. I could feel her tension all the way from here. As if she was slowly turning into stone, just from our presence. Misha and Shizune either didn't notice or don't mind it, as they walked past her to their seats and began to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of the class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me like this, even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Besides me, Misha and Shizune are having besides me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. That comma confused me. I thought he was listing himself. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hee-chan. We've got to hurry already since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around here, I'm sure of it. Oh wait, the teacher said I'd have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. We join the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. Yeah, Shizune is deaf. When we get outside, the girls make their way to a smaller building right next to the school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it's actually part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like Yamaku Foundation office and all the nurses' office. They even have a swimming pool. How's that official? Don't be silly, Hee-chan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyway, all the nurses' stuff facilities are there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with the actual education. I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in, hoping that this really will be a quick visit like the doctor said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text head nurse and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself I invite myself further in. The room is not large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his office chair to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there are at least a dozen coffee rings lingering on the desk. Smiling man, creepy. Hello there. Hello there. What can I do for you today? He is a young-looking and somewhat rugged, and some sort of rugged, but with dimples in his and some sort of rugged but dimples in his cheeks. Wash that expression away with his smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who has heard this same question 100 times. Why, yes, I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name or just the nurse like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I should grab his extended hand. His handshake is firm and friendly. Right, I'm a new student and my homeroom teacher told me to come and meet you. My name is Hisao Nakai. Because Danganronpa. Insert Monokuma. His eyes light up with revelation, and he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Nakai. I was just reading your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic erythema related conjunctional heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me to sit down in the vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yes? Good. Well, you've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities here. The facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there is a problem. The famous 24-hour nursing staff. Well, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His joke feels out of place, but I'm left thinking why he said that. He even said that. Yeah, there's also a beta version of this game, and it's very creepy. Yeah, just that it's really weird to have so many medical people at a school. You get used to it. I'm not sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know about it. Now let me just find your file again. While he searches from his computer and shuffles stacks of paper around, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'd like to say. Beige walls and ceilings, dark gray laminated flooring, and all the equipment you'd expect from the school nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all four walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day, and all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick folders and opens it. So you already have medication for the arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports rush stuff like I don't know, boxing? He grins to his own joke, but I don't know. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm going to recommend you from refraining from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow. But really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. I guess I never did it out of burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of concussion may be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There is no mention of the cause in your papers. Not exactly. I sidestepped the question acceptedly, and he glances at me over his papers with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such, as I said. I don't think you really need such heavy measures. You really need heavy measures. Just get light exercise regularly. Hello, Ragnar. I was explaining to people how you don't like Shizune. brisk walks, or even light jogging, jumping rope, or that sort of thing. Swimming maybe. There's a pool here. So I was told. You were? Very good. Yeah. At any rate, I'm sure you've been told this before. You should just take care of yourself. You should just take care not to overexert yourself. He wags his fingers to emphasize the point. No need really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risk. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them down on the desk, obviously content. Good, that's it. That's it then. Come see me if you need anything. If you need something. I'm ushered out before I even realized it. A quick visit indeed. I ended up standing in front of the main building of the auxiliary building. Although to my eyes, no, Mikan. They still look one and the same. It's the first real look I get at this other students. So I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gate or the dorms. Everyone seems to know where they are going, Mikan-less. What's wrong? No Mikan? And I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? ... I should get going somewhere too, to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The weariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the dorms. Oh no. Set a little while apart from the main building complex. No, we have Mikan. She's There's a garden of sorts between the school and the dorms. Shrubbery, flowers, and the you too. Never mind. Overbearing smell of fresh cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. We're gonna meet him very soon. The dorm building is big and made of red brick. Like the others, it feels too pompous for what it is, so I push forward going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate exterior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. I do like how me and right. Just like in the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the end of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems the only girls around here. It seems the only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose it's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floor. I don't want to speak to Kenji. Here's small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seem to have a toilet and shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down. It's funny how much time you're having. Yeah. Down the hall, I spy room 119. The nameplates on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just two of us here. Light shines from the door of room 117, so I lightly. Please don't. Hello? Is anyone home? From inside, I hear a few movements, then the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. I hate this guy. A spectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He is looking at me very intently through his thick eyeglasses. Who is it? Blind? No. At least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? He leans close to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. It's the incel. Hisao Nakai. I'm moving into the next room. Ragnar and I had a conversation about him. In the game, he's funny, but if I were to meet him in real life, I would beat him up. And Ragnar agrees, he would beat him up too. I thought I should introduce my... His face suddenly brightens in realization, and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, sup dude, the name's Kenji. Oh, hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and vehement welcome. I can't read that. There are some suspicious looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It's probably my parents. Your parents? You sure? Cause they could have been some other people too. You can't judge a book by its cover. Bro, go back to incel.me. He's also a conspiracy theorist. It doesn't help he looks like Harry Potter. His out-of-place proverb is left me hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shrugged and made some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Hisao. Me too. I don't think I could trust the changes. The only one I trust is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you're smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope you're not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean back to dodge it. Like, I also have kind of a condition similar to him. Like, my eyesight is very, 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 very horrible. That I need to get custom-made glasses, and I need to visit the optometrist, the eye doctors, once a year. But lately, I had to do it every 6 months. I used to see an eye specialist in the hospital, but since then I haven't had to. So I hate how him and I have to have special glasses. Never mind, doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search for the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of my door, marked 119. Bleak beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some sort of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room, impersonal, like my hospital room was. My bags are sitting at the floor by my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. Thanks for your entertaining streams. You're welcome, I guess. The closet is sitting open, stuck with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a large number of school uniforms hanging there as well. No, I haven't found the library yet because I haven't had the option to search the library. That's why you've noticed I stumble with words, with reading, because my eyesight's that bad. A note is pinned to the sleeve of one of my shirts. Hey Hee-chan, we've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that it doesn't fit. If these doesn't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you should always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Because according to Ragnar, guys, who don't know anything about this game, to him, best girl is in the library.